Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you've stopped by. Today we are reviewing the brand new Colourpop Pretty Fresh Foundation. I ordered this from Ulta for $16 and I got the shade Light 60 in. If you saw my review of the Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer, you know that didn't go so well. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it right up here and you can check it out if you want to. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be the redemption for the Tinted Moisturizer. And if you would also like to see if this is the redemption of the Tinted Moisturizer, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. Okay guys, like I said, I got the shade Light 60 in, and I am hoping that this is just going to be the amazing brand new foundation from Colourpop that's also going to be hydrating, because this foundation does boast that it is a hydrating foundation that delivers medium buildable coverage, that it's infused with coconut water and hyaluronic acid, and that it lasts all day. Probably not going to be testing it all day. I will for a little bit though. But let's see what she looks like. It looks like almost the identical packaging to the Tinted Moisturizer, Colourpop Pretty Fresh. And then on the back of it, it has the details of the foundation and how to apply it, which is that they recommend to prep your skin with the Pretty Fresh primer and use the Pretty Fresh blending sponge or brush to apply and blend into skin. And let's see what the bottle looks like. It's so cute. It looks a lot like the standard Colourpop foundation, except it's taller instead of wider, but it looks like it has the same pump. Close up, it has the same writing on it that the actual package does. And then it doesn't really have anything else on the component except for the Pretty Fresh on the front. Now, I don't have the Pretty Fresh primer or the Pretty Fresh blending sponge, but I do have the Coca-Cola X Morphe blending sponges, hence why I have this Coca-Cola X Morphe eye look on my face. If you want to watch this review, it'll be linked right up here. But I do want to give these sponges a shot and see how they perform. For the brush side, I'm going to be using the Sigma F80 Flat Kabuki brush. So it'll be brush side on the right and sponge side on the left. I am going to start out with my Formula 10.0.6 Smoothing Daily Primer with Licorice Root and Aloe Vera because I want my face to look flawless. Okay, I'm now primed and ready to go. I'm going to start with the sponge side, which is going to be my left side in this case. Do they say how many pumps to start with? Prep your skin, use the sponge or brush to apply and blend in. So nope, they don't say. It shows it's medium to buildable, so let's just start with a pump and see where it gets us. Okay, like half a pump first. Let's start with 1.5 pumps, is what I meant to say. Oh, it's so cold. Hey, I think the shade match is pretty good. I ordered this from Ulta, in case I didn't say that. This foundation was actually released on Ulta only first, which I thought was pretty cool, an Ulta exclusive with Colourpop. Huh, that's really pretty. I can tell the sponge is definitely soaking up a lot of the product because it looks like it's just a soft veil of color right now, but the finish is just really pretty. It looks like it's just melting right into the skin. For 1.5 pumps though, that was gone pretty quick. This is a brand new sponge though, and brand new sponges soak up product a lot faster than used sponges. So let's do another 1 pump, we'll say for now. Ooh, whoa. This is a very watery foundation. Definitely got a lot of hyaluronic acid in it. This reminds me a lot of the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. It's like almost feeling exactly like the same formula except more watery. I can feel that it has more of a hydrating aspect to it, but the medium buildable part of this foundation is just like that. So that was with 2.5 pumps with the sponge. Now let's see what it looks like with the brush side. Again, this is the Sigma F80 Flat Kabuki. Let's do 1 pump first. No wait, 1.5 because that's what we started with on the other side. That is so cold. It already looks like I'm getting a lot more coverage. Especially on my nose. Okay, so 1.5 already got me a lot more coverage versus the 2.5 on the sponge side, which makes sense because obviously this much foundation came off of my face onto the sponge. So definitely prefer the coverage of the brush side, but that's only for the look that I'm doing today. I like this with the sponge as more of like an everyday wear type thing, especially wearing masks all the time now. If half of it's gonna come off my face anyway, I might as well not put a lot on. So I do really like both finishes, both sides. I think they both serve their purposes and they both look great, really. But I want to see what they mean by medium buildable. They didn't say medium buildable to full. They just said medium buildable. So I'm curious as to what that really means. So I'm gonna go in with 2 more pumps on both sides and see what it looks like. So I'll be right back. It does oxidize quite a bit. Almost into a red tone, which is really weird. Can you see how this looks like a red brown? And obviously this is the fresh foundation and it's more like a light beigey tan. Not a fan of that. Okay, well, I got both sides built up completely to the point of having 4.5 pumps on each side, both the brush side and the sponge side. And honestly, there's really not too much of a difference between either side. They both built up very beautifully. I will say that this side looks a little bit smoother, so I guess that means I prefer the sponge application. For concealer, I'm going to use my Colourpop Pretty Fresh Concealer. This one is in the shade Light 40 in. Maybe this will help lessen the intensity of the orange tone that I see. That is definitely different from the foundation shade. And to blend out the concealer, I'm going to use the Coca-Cola X Morphe Mini Contour and Shaping Sponge. And once I finish blending this out, I'm also going to go ahead and set my under eyes with my Beauty Bakery Flour Powder, and also I'm going to set the rest of my face with my Urban Decay All Nighter Pressed Setting Powder. It is now time to apply bronzer, contour, and blush. Bronzer, I'm going to use the NARS Paradise Found Bronzing Powder. For contour, the Morphe Highlight and Contour Palette 8L Lo-Fi Palette. And for blush, the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism Palette. Let's see if this foundation can handle all of that on top of it. You would think that I've been painting on canvas all day with how much makeup I have all over my white t-shirt. However, my face is the exact opposite of my shirt. My face is not a mess. My face actually looks really great. This foundation, the coverage of it is beautiful, and all of the other products built up on top of it perfectly. It's not overly wet and dewy looking. It's not super dry and cakey looking. It's just kind of that perfect in between. So now we start our wear test. Granted, I don't know for sure how long that wear test is going to be because it's already 8:38 p.m. and I have to work at 8 in the morning. But I might be up for a little while longer. I know at least that I still have to finish the rest of my makeup, so I'm going to go ahead and do that all off camera. It's really just the eyes that need to be finished up. And once I finish that, I'm gonna go ahead and go about my night to probably edit a little bit, hang out, and I will check in with you guys right at the end of the day whenever it's time for bed. And we will see if the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Foundation is still gonna be looking pretty fresh or if it'll be looking pretty tragic. So I will see you guys in just a second. We are now back for the final check-in. It is now 1:30 in the morning, so it has been 5 hours since I first applied this foundation, and it looks beautiful still. The finish is gorgeous. I've been laughing a lot, and even my smile lines still look at bay. I'm really tired, and I don't look like I'm really tired, so that's really nice. I'm actually really happy with this foundation, especially for the price that it is. I mean, 16 bucks to have this type of finish is just beautiful. Plus my skin feels good because it's hydrating. I even think that if you have oily skin, as long as you were to set your face with powder, you would still enjoy this foundation. So officially, when it comes to the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Foundation, I would definitely recommend it. It looks great, feels great, has skin loving benefits, and has pretty good lasting power. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up on this video. It does help me out and it lets other people see my content, and it also helps YouTube promote my content, which is pretty nice sometimes. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.